welcome fellow campers. AI Summer Camp Week 2, Day 3, Anime Studio. AI John, you ready for it?
Couldn't be readier, brother.
Awesome. If you guys actually want to get into the summer camp, it's only $100 a week. You can get $500 for the entire summer, all 9 weeks. It's www.airheadinstitute.ai. Learn about anime, superheroes, Roblox, making movies, making games. Really awesome. You can even get certifications as well. Drop in link to the Zoom chat so you guys can actually jump in. All right, here we go, guys.
Welcome to Season 13 and 14 of Airhead Institute. This is our 2-hour summer camp kicking off every day at noon Eastern. Right now, we are broadcasting the kickoff live across all the socials and Zoom, but at 12:45 p.m., we pivot. That's when we transition into an exclusive private lesson where our campers get hands-on experience actually building and creating with these AI tools. Plus, they'll be proving their new skills and earning official certifications by completing our certification exams. Here is what we are building over our epic 9-week summer lineup. Week 1, AI images for Roblox and Minecraft. Week 2, AI movies in Anime Studio. Week 3, AI music for TikTok sounds and Spotify hits. Week 4, AI games for classic arcade games. Week 5, AI ethics, hackers, deepfakes, and scams. Week 6, AI images for Disney and Marvel. Week 7, AI movies, Hollywood in your pocket. Week 8, AI music for hip-hop beats and gaming soundtracks. Week 9, AI games for phone and app store games. We're making AI practical, powerful, and fun for everyone. No tech background, no problem. Whether you're a kid ready to build awesome projects or an adult looking to audit a class and learn, just show up. Spots are still open. It's just $100 per week, or you can unlock the whole summer for $500. Secure your spot right now at www.airheadinstitute.ai. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. Let's stop scrolling and start creating. Welcome to camp.
Hey, welcome back to Season 13 of Airhead Institute. Today is Episode 3 of Week 2, AI Movies. I'm AI Johnny, and I'm still reeling from watching Backroom last night at the Georgetown Theater. What happens when you rip the safety brakes off an AI physics engine using nothing but text? You get absolute kinetic chaos, that's what. Yesterday, you directed the camera. Today, you become a force of nature. We are hijacking the literal speed parameters, acceleration variables, and kinetic force of our clips. This isn't just about moving elements on a screen. It's about bending velocity to your will. We're pushing the text prompts past the red line to command supersonic movement without shattering the simulation. Speaking of shattering the simulations, over at our resident engineering genius is AI Junior. I caught him at 3 a.m. trying to prompt himself running at Mach 5 for ice cream. The AI completely vaporized his digital eggs. AI Junior, let's go into the speed matrix, okay?
Yo, look at that supersonic ice cream sprint. That was advanced scientific research study and drag factors, okay? Anyway, the physics models just couldn't handle my raw motivation. Welcome to Camp Airheads. Remember, this is an immersive summer class. You may not understand every technical parameter or pixel algorithm we drop today, but stick with us daily and you'll be fluent in AI in no time. If you're watching us across our public social streams right now, you're getting the first 45 minutes completely free to our official registered camp squad. You should already be locked in and loaded inside our private Zoom workspace. If you're actually an official camper not in the Zoom yet, I'm dropping the actual secure link in our text right now so you guys can actually jump on right ahead and come on in to prepare for today's creation. All right, so AI Johnny, as we push forward into day 3, our ultimate goal remains steady. But by Friday, every camper here is going to direct and produce their own custom 8-second anime sequence, casting themselves as the main hero. But today we're actually there's a critical building block mastering motion weight inside our commands so our actions feel incredibly impactful, heavy, and professional instead of floating around like a glitchy sideshow. Are you ready, AI Johnny?
Mach 5, buddy, Mach 5.
All right. Hey, Mr. Camillo, thanks for joining. All right. So check this out, AI Johnny. So we're going to get straight to the action. So I'm actually going to bring up flow here and continue from where we've been working yesterday. So if you're actually joining us again for the first time, we actually created a really amazing scene. AI Johnny, I want to just play that scene again for us, just for whoever missed it. So this is what we created yesterday.
The shadows can no longer hide your sins. Prepare yourself!
That was just from yesterday. Yeah, Johnny. So impressive. All right.
Very, very good.
Yep. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. So remember the golden rule for establishing any kind of movie. You don't just drop any raw text into the video model, right? And pray that it looks good. To be a real pro of character consistency, you have to actually generate a clean starter image as an ingredient built in Nano Banana 2 image model. All right, so watch my grid. I'm gonna run the first prompt is AI Gen, we're gonna do a giant mech robot standing probably in a ruined futuristic city, clean 3D blueprint layout, cinematic anime studio key visual. So I'm gonna actually take that and I'm gonna drop that into Nana Banana. Now, if you guys missed, this is a video class, but if you guys actually want to catch up on the art that we actually do, we did that last week, but we'll have a repeat, which is not going to be the exact same, but the same concept in week 6. So we're right now in week 2. All right, yeah, Johnny, I'm gonna generate only 2 of these. Is that okay?
What's a mecha robot?
Oh, a mech is actually one of those big giant, you're gonna see it. One of those big giant robots that actually, people can actually get in and can actually control.
Like in Transformers?
You know what?
Or in Alien 2?
I would definitely say it's like Transformers or like Alien 2. Yeah. It's very similar. So when it actually comes back, we're gonna show you. So let me make this larger, and here it is, AI Johnny. So here it is. So we actually have 2 of them. So which one did you like?
Let's see. Today, I like the one. Is that Arabic in the upper left?
No, I think it's Japanese.
Let's go. Okay, let's go Japanese.
Yeah, I think both are either Japanese or either both are Korean. I'm not sure how to read them. So which one you want? You want the top one or the bottom one?
I want the top one.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. So AI Johnny actually likes the top one. So we're gonna go ahead and hit animate, right? And now that we're actually gonna hit animate, we're gonna actually do something really, really cool. So AI Johnny, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in something that controls the kinetic parameters. Now, this is the part that actually feels a little bit weird. We never talk about kinetic parameters. Yesterday we did talk about motion weights and we introduced it a little bit, but let's see what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna drop this prompt in. And the prompt is going to be the following. I'm actually only going to generate 2 of them. Let's only generate 2 of them. And we're going to use ingredients. We're not going to use frames. We're going to use ingredients. And we're just going to hit send on that. Hey, Shauna, thanks for joining. All right, so check this out, Johnny. The prompt is a giant mecha robot strikes the ground heavily, creating massive shockwaves and shattering concrete panels. So what that's doing is it's behind the scenes, the motion weights itself, the AI is actually listening because it's a TTV model. Remember, we talked about temperature when we talk about a TTT model, or we're talking about, grounding, yeah, acting as a role. There's certain words that you can actually do to tell that you want to actually deal with its motion weight. So when we set the motion weight set to low, it simulates a realistic immense weight. So what's going to do right now is going to generate a video in about a second or so. Here it's coming. All right, yeah, Johnny, which one do you want to see first? The first one or the second one?
Wait a minute. You said you set the weight Was there a weight parameter in that?
So just like how we were to say, I want you to be very creative or think outside the box, that's internally setting the temperature of these large language models. So there's certain words that you
Hmm.
can actually use to kind of influence. So when you say, I want you to be, this is your role, I want you to act, it now sets that as the actual role. So you're not setting parameters like saying the weight, it's just interpreting what you're actually trying to say.
All right. So, well, since these are Japanese, let's go right to left, bottom up. So let's do the second one first.
All right, I love it. Yeah, Johnny. So let's do this. So I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. So remember our prompt, guys. Hey, Adrian, thanks for joining. So the prompt is this: a giant mecha robot strikes the ground heavily, creating massive shockwaves and shattering concrete panels. So this is how it starts. So let's see.
And that prompt, both prompts are in the.
There you go. So that one was pretty cool. You actually saw him actually jump down and actually punch the actual floor, and you can feel the weight of the actual video going on, right? Yeah, Johnny.
Yeah. So, I mean, you think about it. You wrote what, 15 words? Giant mecha robot strikes the ground heavily, creating massive shockwaves and shattering concrete panels. We're going to have 4 separate videos. Any one of those videos, I could describe the video in a lot more words.
Yep.
So, what I'm trying to say here is that not only movie making is easier because you don't need a set, you don't need a location, you don't need cameramen, you don't need a director, you don't need actors. The art of telling it what to do is easier because in old movie making you would have to have described specifically it goes up in the air, it comes down, we zoom in on one leg. We didn't have to do any of that. We just had to give it a generalization, and then if it didn't do what we want, we would then get more specific. But the idea of making movies today, anime or not, it's a much easier process. Anybody can do this.
Exactly, exactly. And the beautiful part about this to AI Johnny is that the AI actually helps us. So the less we actually say, the there's something called attention mechanism, and the attention mechanism focuses on the words we say. So what happens is the AI statistically will pick and assume and fill in the most likely possibility, because if you don't say it, it will just assume. So if I say I'm sitting on a park bench reading. Now, AI Johnny, by saying sitting on the park bench reading, what would you think I'm reading statistically?
Catch 22.
Okay, not not book, but what media, or what do you think I'll be actually reading if I was actually sitting on a park bench
In
reading?
a park, you're reading a newspaper.
Yeah, so statistically, it would be newspaper or a book. Now, chances are it would not be, say, for example, reading, a crossword puzzle or reading some other random thing, right? It would be a newspaper. So what happened is by just saying reading, the AI is going to statistically pick a newspaper or a book because you said I'm in the park reading on the park bench reading. So the good thing is, and if there's something that you guys can take away, is the less you say, the more correct it will be. And if you say they should be reading a crossword puzzle, then you're gonna tell it that it's going to be a crossword puzzle. It's going to focus on the crossword puzzle and it's going to generate that crossword puzzle, but it may not necessarily be statistically correct or likely.
I would agree. And as long as we're off on the sidebar, this is becoming just as much a prompt engineering class as it is a kinetic making movies. So the idea is let's just take a look at that prompt real quick. The giant mecha robot strikes the ground heavily. So there's a couple of adjectives in there. Giant and heavily. Now, if you had left those out, it might have given you the very similar or the exact same video. If you left those out and you wanted it to be giant, you could always add it later because it made a giant too small. So I agree with what you're saying. Start simple and then see what it generates. And then if it's like, no, that's not what I had in mind. I want it to be red. I want it to be bigger. I want it to be in Tokyo. You make those changes after you see how it interprets and generates what it thinks you're saying. Are we on the same page here?
That's correct. So, Leah, let's parse what we're saying. The giant mecha robot strikes the ground heavily. So, the thing that actually matters here is the word heavily. That's the thing that actually puts gravity or weight on the actual motion. So by saying the word heavily, it understands now, hey, I need to pay attention to the word heavily, and it's going to actually strike the ground heavily. So let's take a look at the second video. Let me just turn on the audio here so you guys can actually see. Let me make that full screen for you guys, and let's check it out now. So exactly, yeah, Johnny. So
Very similar.
what it's doing is that actually, using those words that are important. So if you want to do a little bit more weight, you actually put in the word heavily. And again, it doesn't have to be heavily. It could be swiftly. It could be, going fast. Whatever it is, you're putting words that matches the animation speed or the weight of what you're trying to do, right? So if you just said, he smashes the ground, great. But if he smashes the ground heavily or smashes the ground quickly or swiftly, then you're actually now directing the action yourself, which is really, really impressive. All right, yeah, Johnny.
So the motion weight is determined by the words you use.
Correct. Exactly. Exactly. All right, yeah, Johnny. With that being said, let's actually get to the word of the day.
Oh, okay. All right, it's that time of day. A taste to that. The milestone term is in fact motion weight. How do you do that, man? How do you read my mind like that?
Yeah.
The definition of motion weight is adjusting the speed intensely with multipliers and acceleration parameters inside a video AI model to dictate the kinetic energy and physical velocity of moving targets. Want me to say it again?
Yeah, Johnny, go ahead. It's safe for the people in the back. Love it.
Motion weight is adjusting the speed intensity multipliers and acceleration parameters inside a video AI model to dictate the kinetic energy and physical velocity of moving targets. Think of it like choosing your vehicle class or adjusting your controller sensitivity in a racing game. If you pick a heavy armored monster truck, it accelerates slowly, but hits with massive impact. If you pick a supersonic rocket car, it zips across the screen at hyperspeed, but if your handling sensitivity is too high, you spin out of control and crashed into a glitched wall.
Exactly. So that's the elite tier parallel AI, Johnny. So when you command the TTV, that's a text to video framework like Flow, the AI doesn't automatically know how much an object weighs, right? So if you leave the motion weights completely unmanaged, the model might animate a giant titan moving with a flimsy speed of a cartoonish squirrel, completely destroying the cinematic immersion. So by explicitly programming the speed values or setting the weight itself, you instruct VIO, the TTV model, to exactly how much pixel displacement to render between every sequential frame, giving you total control over the gravity of your storytelling. So AI Johnny, hopefully that makes sense to our campers out there.
Yep.
All right, so let's actually
Shall we do a live build?
we're definitely going to do it live, but I want to go back a little bit because I want to show something that what we created here at Earhead to make you guys actually understand. So let's back up to remember this one we did yesterday. We did you know being able to show the
Yep.
angle and those type of things. There is another demo I actually created to be able to show how does the pixels move. Now, this is the part that's actually it's a little bit advanced, but if you guys actually understand what's actually happening in the TTV model, everything becomes a little bit clearer. So on the left, we have a little animation here of a guy. He has a cape, he has a crown on, and he has a sword. We have a little bouncing block here, and the block itself is we're trying to simulate a object that can be moved with wind and with pixels. Now, I tried to put these little pixels to show you that there is, let's say, for example, air. Okay. Now, these little dots is representing air. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to start out on the left of showing you on this character itself is going to start using his sword and fanning. And on the right is going to what happens if the actual fanning happens, where should the pixels move? Now, AI Johnny, I actually put in arrows to determine where these things are. So let's check this out. So once we start out, if we go really, really slow, you can see on the left, the little wind is actually going, right? And on the right, you can see something happening to the arrows here. Now, I'm gonna go all the way extreme to make you guys actually see what's happening, because if I go extreme, it's gonna be very obvious. So what these arrows mean, for example, this one, this means that this dot started here and actually goes up here and ends here. What is happening is actually in physics, it's trying to figure out where should that pixel be with respect to everything around it. So this object itself, this box, was in the way, so it couldn't go straight. It had to either go up or down. Now, because it was actually more up, it knew that it was supposed to go up naturally, because that's how physics works. If you look at the dots up here, they just went straight because there was nothing blocking its path. So anytime you get an animation that actually does something really, 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 really smooth and cool, it has to figure out where every single pixel needs to move in the next frame so that it looks really, really smoothly. So that's what's happening here, AI Johnny, when you actually say, I want to move the pixel to the next frame. So if I start out here, as I actually increase the actual animation, the pixels need to determine where it's going to move. So I'm showing you the trajectory of those pixels over time. So as you can see here, the pixels itself move around the box because the actual box is actually there. Does that make sense, AI Johnny?
What exactly are you showing us? How it simulates the real world?
No, it's every single pixel needs to know where it's going to move in the next frame. So what I did was I actually showed here the pixel origin starts with the little dot, and then I showed you the arrow where the pixel moves over time. So all you're seeing is every single frame, where is that pixel moving? So the point is these upper ones have nothing really blocking it. So it just moves straight. But these ones right here, they have a little square blocking it. So therefore it can't just move straight. For it to be natural, it needs to actually move up and down. Make sense?
If more of those pixels move below the box than above the box, does the Bernoulli principle kick in?
Yeah, Johnny, love it. All right, so let's go to this now. And this is where I want to show you guys what's happening. So when you actually look here, we have the motion parameter engine. So when you actually see so we're talking about motion weights here. If we have a character that actually needs to move, the lighter the weight, the slower it moves with less effect. Now, if you actually look at this, this is the same exact character jumping up and falling backwards with his sword. You may see a slow motion in any kind of video that you've created. You may have seen it in a movie. Nothing's wrong with slow motion. Slow motion is great. But to get that effect, sometimes you need to go a little bit faster. So you could increase the weight and actually see the effect happening much, much faster on the actual character, and it has different impact. So if you're actually animating something, you want to always think, okay, do I want to have faster motion, slower motion, increase weight, or harder weight? Because if you actually do the difference between a lower weight, the animation is going to be much slower. If you do increase weight, it's just going to be more fluid. And guess what, AI Johnny? You can actually get cartoonishly ridiculous and say it just goes like a cartoon. It's just too fast, right? So the point is you can actually control how do you want your motion to move based on just these words of this weight. So if you ever see your animation or things moving around too fast or too slow, pay attention to the words that you're using to maybe say modify the actual motion weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Bugs Bunny's legs move so fast that it just becomes a spinning wheel and he doesn't move at all.
That is correct. That's exactly correct. All right, AI Johnny. So we're going to go back and we're going to pull back the curtain again, and we're going to do a new one from scratch again. So let's go over back to flow. All right, so now that we're back into flow, so we're going to just start with a new image itself. So this new image, we are going to, let's see what we're going to do, AI Johnny. we are going to take
Back to anime?
always anime, always anime, always, always, always. All right, so the warrior executes.
I love anime.
Me too, yeah, Johnny. All right, so the warrior executes a sudden. I see Shauna giving lots of hearts. All right, so we're gonna do the exact same thing with what we did before. So we're gonna start, drop down here. We're gonna drop in this prompt. The warrior executes a sudden supersonic forward dash step, leaving trailing lines of red neon light, intense kinetic energy, camera following the motion. So we're gonna do that, yeah, Johnny, and we're gonna do that with
Okay.
which the same one, top one that you liked, right?
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna add that. And is there anything else you wanna add or modify? So we actually said a supersonic forward dash. Now that's our keyword there that actually makes it go really, really fast. So we're gonna generate that.
We're assuming that it'll know that the robot is a warrior.
Hopefully, yeah, Johnny. Hopefully, it will hopefully assume that or mech is a warrior. All right. So while it's actually coming back, it usually takes about, a minute or so of inference time itself to actually come back, depending on how busy the servers are. Again, if you guys are actually enjoying the summer camp, we're doing this all summer long. It's only $100 per week. Go to www.airheadinstitute.ai to actually register. All right, yeah, Johnny.
I'll tell you, one of the things that makes summer camp so great is that we go in, obviously we're going to do art, we're going to do movies, we're going to do music, we're going to do games. We show you exactly how to make those things, usually with just a handful of prompts. We give you the prompts. And then in the second hour, we let you take those same prompts or adjust them to your liking and do the same stuff in the Tally Lab. And then we actually take you into the certification exam and certify you as being knowledgeable in this subject. Are we done?
Yeah, we're back. All right, yeah, Johnny, let's see what it actually came back with. Which one do you want to see first? Ooh, it has two different perspectives. It has the first, side kind of profile with like a boss, with one of the legs up on a piece of rock and the other one just standing there like a boss as well. Which one do you want to see?
Right to left, bottom to top.
All right.
It's the Japanese way.
All right, let's do it. That was so awesome. That was so.
We're so in the wrong business.
so let's do the second one, yeah, Johnny. All right. So guys, just to recap what we actually did, all we said was the warrior executes a sudden supersonic forward dash step, leaving trailing lines of neon red light, intense kinetic energy, a camera following the motion. That's all we said. And all of that just translated into what we actually just saw here. And that's a really, really cool scene, yeah, Johnny. Let me just play it again while we actually talk about what's going on. So, if you actually, saw what we're actually testing today, right? We maxed out the settings itself by saying, hey, let's go ahead and do max supersonic. I mean, I don't think there's any word you can actually say that's faster than supersonic, maybe faster than, a speeding bullet or something like that. But yeah, that by saying those things, it brought in a much, 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 much faster moving mech. And I know it's heavy AI, Johnny, but it actually did move supersonic speed. Show the trails.
So what happens if we decide to slide the motion weight to 100%? What words would we use and what would happen? Would it get even crazier?
It's always going to get crazier. So we actually have if you try to tell if you wanted to go a little bit extra, right, you can actually do things like say ridiculous or go over the top or cartoonish. By doing that, it's gonna understand like your Bugs Bunny example of moving in a circle and you just can't see it. So you could do that, but we're not necessarily gonna try to do those, but you guys can do it if you want. So what we're gonna do is we're going to now take that and let's actually take a feedback from the audience. Does anybody want to change something specifically with the mech, or if this animation itself. Does anybody want to change the colors, or do we want to do, yeah, John, just throw anything else you want.
You know what it's making me think of, because we're talking about motion weight. You ever watch like a Star Trek episode where they're zipping through outer space, and then they start going faster and faster, and you can see the pixels, if you will, moving faster, and then all of a sudden they hit warp speed and it's just straight lines?
Yeah, like going
I wonder if we could do so. I wonder if we can make this guy run such that the background becomes a straight line,
you know what,
or he becomes a straight line.
you know, let's try it. Let's say like going through, I think we know what you're talking
Warp
about.
speed.
Through a wormhole at warp speed.
Now you're talking.
It's
Now you're directing
super
now you're directing with the big boys.
exciting. All right, let's see that. So I'm gonna actually generate 2 of those. So while that's actually coming back, so yeah, Johnny, yeah. So I don't know how many of our campers know Star Trek or they're more popular with Star Wars, but yeah. So you know, anytime you're actually dealing with space, or anytime you're actually dealing with anything from futuristic, they usually have these things like, you know, showing going really, 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 really fast. And the way they do it is they either say you're going through a wormhole. If you guys are interested in physics, we can actually talk in our private camp session afterwards, because I'm really, really fond of all those super amazing things. But going through those things usually happen really, really faster than the speed of light. So this is called faster than light travel. So yeah, Johnny, we're almost about to actually get what you wanted.
2 videos with flow. What does that cost?
Well, AI Johnny, if you have to ask the cost, you can't afford it. I'm kidding. Something like this, it's better to have a subscription. So if you go to try to pay a la carte, it's probably gonna cost you maybe about $1.30, $1.40 each video. And we generated 2, so just these 2 videos itself is probably about $2.50, maybe $3, depending on you know, all the additional taxes and fees and everything you actually pay for. It's about $2, it's about $1.30 each video. Yeah, Johnny.
Okay.
All right, so let's check this out. So we're gonna see those going through our wormhole. Let's see what we did. Yeah, Johnny, you saw the wormhole.
Not bad. I saw the lines.
Yep, let's do another one. We have one more. There you go. Went through a wormhole.
Looked exactly like Star Wars. That looked exactly like Star Wars when they're hitting warp speed.
Yeah.
And they had to do it in 8 seconds, which is even more impressive.
Yeah, you're so right, yeah, Johnny. All right, so let's actually go to the questions. Does anybody have any questions out there? Again, the live stream is going to be about a 30-second delay. So if you actually ask your question, we're not ignoring you. Just give it about a second or 2 and we'll actually get to you. All right, yeah, Johnny, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I've got one from Mecha Driver. Interesting name. What exactly causes a video to turn into a chaotic glitch when I turn the motion setting all the way up? So what makes that happen?
Yeah, so let's try an example, because I you know, this is the second time I'm hearing a question silly that is kind of silly. So if I use the word, instead of saying supersonic forward, let's use this one. Let's use this one. So we're gonna reuse this video, and we're gonna say in a cartoonish way. I'm just gonna throw it. I'm statistically what's gonna happen, I'm hoping, in a very cartoonish way, creating shock waves. Cartoonish shock waves, and shattering concrete panels in a ridiculous way. I'm trying to force it to actually do. All right, I'm trying to force it to actually break them, set the settings all the way up. So let's do that. So we're gonna go ahead and generate 2 videos. So what I did was I threw in words that I knew weren't typically gonna respect physics. So instead of saying just massive shockwaves, I said in a cartoonish way. I say, what else did I say? I said also in a ridiculous way. So what I'm doing is I'm using words. Hopefully the AI is going to pay attention. Remember that attention mechanism I'm talking about. And it's going to go a little bit over the top. And it's going to say, okay, they're really, really looking for something not realistic. They want to go a little bit more cartoonish. So it's going to take about 15 or so seconds more for it to come back.
You're also speaking like our kids here. That's how they will say ridiculous or
Yeah.
this kind of language, which is pretty cool.
You're absolutely so right.
No cap.
Shauna. No cap. Listen to yeah, Johnny. No cap, Shauna. No cap. All right. So first of all, I noticed that it actually changed it to be a little bit more cartoonish. So maybe it actually interpreted my words cartoonish as to be a cartoon. Let's go see what's doing. It actually did, obviously, that's not going to really happen with physics, but it did actually do it in a cartoonish way. Now it is rendered in cartoon. So let's see what the other one did.
If it interpreted your word cartoonish as cartoonish, I would say it didn't misinterpret it.
You're absolutely right. Good enough. Good enough for me. So yeah, so you can actually try to use words to actually try to influence it. It may not necessarily read your mind, but you're trying, but definitely keep trying. And it's actually a really good way to experience, which is why you should get a subscription for system like these, because they're really, really expensive if you do it at the pay per use model. Shauna's saying these are freaking outstanding, guys. Thank you, Shauna. All right. Yeah, Johnny, any more questions that we actually have coming in?
Let's see here. I do have one. Speedrunner has a question. Can we use low motion weight to make an epic Matrix style slow motion bullet dodge clip? Remember that clip where he was bending over and dodging every bullet?
Oh, definitely. So yeah, so we did that yesterday's class. I'm just gonna play yesterday's video to see that slow motion bullet time. Yeah, Johnny, I don't remember exactly which one, but I think it might be this one. A camera dramatically pans and tracks through the air. Was it this one? Nope, not that one. Was it this one? Let's see. I think this is the one. Yeah, Johnny. Matrix style. All right. Let's go see which one. I think it was the second one was better, right? Yeah, Johnny? All right. Let's go see that video. That wasn't it. It was the first one. Let's do the first one. Yeah, Johnny.
How can you remember all those videos we did yesterday?
It's normal. Let me see the prompt. Let's see the prompt. It was this one. Yeah, so what it did was it vertically, it flipped it first, and then went all around the Matrix style. So that's exactly what we're talking about. So that was on the
similar to the Matrix.
Yeah, the camera actually.
It didn't slow it down, but suffice it to say, if it can pan all the way around, it can slow it down. And if it slows it down and there's bullets flying, you're going to create that same effect.
Exactly.
So the cinematic slow motion particles. So the way you would say that is cinematic slow motion particles, extreme temporal detail. That would be like the prompt, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So let's actually do that. And while we're doing that, let's get to the third question. Yeah, Johnny.
Okay. Pixel Queen is a code. Wants to know, does adding heavy elements like fire or energy smoke affect how fast the character moves? Let me read that again. Does adding heavy elements like fire or energy smoke affect how fast the character moves? So if you put in the prompt that there's fire or energy smoke, will it make the character move faster without actually saying move the character faster? I think that's what she's asking.
Yeah, so if I were to guess, I think you're right. if you put in, say for example, smoke or fire or some falling rocks or whatever it is, the VO engine itself will apply its motion weight factor itself to the entire scene. So if it thinks that you're talking about fire behind your feet running, it will say, okay, this person's probably running fast, and will actually make the assumption. So it probably will do a good job of assuming what you're trying to say. So yeah, it could affect the.
You light me on fire, I'm moving faster. I'll tell you that.
There you go. Shauna actually says, I love anime, so I'm really enjoying this week's lesson in animation using AI to create these scenes. So awesome. All right, AI Johnny. So what we did was we actually added those little extra things, cinematic slow motion folding particles. So let's see what it actually did. Ooh, look at that. I saw the slow motion. So
I saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm gonna actually on the so these little things here were actually going in slow motion. Look at that. That is so cool. Love it, AI Johnny. Love
It's
it.
the sound effects that's blowing my mind. Hey, what do you say we move up to the ethical thought of the day?
Of course, let's do it.
This is a powerful tool. It's time for the ethical thought. Let's look closely at the Airhead code, and the Airhead is honest and responsible. Because kinetic manipulation tools allow us to speed up, slow down, or heavily warp video physics, it's incredibly easy to alter the context of real-world events to deceive people. A bad actor could take a real video footage of a security officer moving quickly to help someone, accelerate the motion parameters to make it look aggressive, and spread it across social media to start a false rumor. Never use speed manipulation or temporal editing tools to warp the baseline truth, fake evidence, or create misleading footage designed to damage someone's reputation. We use our cinematic powers to create mind-blowing art, never to distort reality or cause harm. It's a mouthful, but you got to say this stuff, Junior, because these tools are just so powerful, they can really, really hurt just as much as they can help.
Yeah, you're big facts, yeah, Johnny. All right, so let's actually always use our development skills to build up our squad. So for my younger creators out there, 10 to 13, here are 2 fun ways you can actually deploy today's physics lessons immediately. So first, generate an awesome fantasy creature image with Nano Banana 2, load it into Flow, and apply low motion speed to create a heavy, epic, giant step loop for your channel banner. Second, you can actually animate a fast-paced supersonic spell blast clip to use as an animated custom reaction sticker to flex on your friends in the chat. And I see Shauna actually saying something as well. Let me just drop her a comment in. I love your focus on AI ethics, guys. Thanks for being mindful of this. You're so welcome, Shauna. All right, AI Johnny. Anything for our older kids out there?
Yeah, and when I was 14 to 18, the projects that they would give me are things like go, do a paper drive or go sell chocolate on the street. But today, a couple ways that you can use this if you're 14 to 18, you can execute this for major real-world projects. First, you can use kinetic weight parameters to build professional, high-impact action transitions and cinematic title cards to level up your video portfolios and game design trailers, which means you could be right in the game with the best of the best out there making television and movie videos. Second, if you are animating concept footage for an indie game pitch, you can use these same precise speed settings to map out the physical weight and movement properties of your characters before you ever write a single line of game engine code. Pretty cool stuff. Making movies, making games, boy.
Super awesome, yeah, Johnny. All right, let's actually get to the news. What's in the news, yeah, Johnny?
The news. Apple unveils the rebuilt Siri-powered by 1.2 trillion parameter Gemini model at WWDC 2026. That's the conference. The massive news from Worldwide Developers Conference, Apple officially delivered its overhaul assistant app. Tim Cook used his final WWDC keynote before handling the C-Note keys to John Turnus to showcase that Apple's new cloud architecture is heavily dependent on Google Gemini infra to run multi-step personalized AI features natively across iPhones and Macs. This infrastructure partnership reportedly costs Apple roughly $1 billion per year to ensure next-gen performance. That's going to be notably, you're going to see that on your Macs and on your iPhones, right?
Definitely.
More Apple news. They showcased major parental control upgrades. Great news. Alongside their core AI announcements, Apple dropped a massive suite of features targeting child device safety. Arriving with iOS 27 later this year, parents will get access to a redesigned screen time dashboard featuring time allowances, allowing families to seamlessly set daily time boundaries across entire app categories like games, social media, entertainment with a single tap. It's about time.
Yeah.
Before it was always you could use it all the time or you could never use it. Now you can say you can use it an hour a day. Beautiful. And finally, Runway Generation 3 launches the advanced vector physics controls. Moving back to the video world, Runway announced a brand new update to their model array. Filmmakers can now type structural math equations directly into prompt boxes to regulate the exact frame-by-frame acceleration curve of explosive B-roll elements, minimizing rendering glitches. Finally, my math degree pays off. Dude, I'm finally catching up by dropping a $1.2 trillion parameter in Google Gemini brain straight into Siri. It's an absolute game changer for me. We are literally mastering the exact prompting logic that is driving the biggest tech platforms on Earth.
Yeah.
My mind is buzzing after watching the mecha robot break the sound barrier. I'm literally about to go cook this with this after the show. No cap, I'm gonna generate an ultra-wide action clip of an entire anime fighter squadron executing a supersonic brake maneuver through a laser field. Listen up, crew. Today we mastered velocity and motion weight. Tomorrow, on Thursday, we're tackling the biggest boss fight in AI video, temporal consistency. We are going to discover the exact prompting strategies to seed rules required to lock down character clothing, armor, and facial structures across multiple clips, so your characters can never randomly shapeshift between seconds. It's going to be a massive W. Junior, take us out, bro.
Exactly. And tomorrow's consistency training is pure gold. Before we slice our public live stream, in half, we actually a quick reminder to all our friends tuning in online. Space is filling up incredibly fast, but weekly passes are still available. Remember that our multi-week packages are 100% flex passes, meaning that you can lock in your highest discount rate now and select any week that you actually want, and go around your summer calendar vacations. If you ever miss a morning broadcast, don't sweat. The full replays are hosted on our YouTube channel for a limited time, and you can actually master your prompting structures on your own schedule. But it's now 12:45, so YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, we're gonna cut off the public broadcast right now. To all our official registered Airhead campers, make sure you're actually inside the Zoom chat. I'm actually gonna just drop that link so you guys can actually come on over. And if you're actually watching online and want to get in live on this coaching, just earn a real tech certification, tell your parents, head over to www.airheadinstitute.ai right now to secure your pass for just $100 a week. All right, so AI Johnny, catch you guys soon. Later. Bye, guys.
Welcome to Season 13 and 14 of Airhead Institute. This is our 2-hour summer camp kicking off every day at noon Eastern. Right now, we are broadcasting the kickoff live across all the socials and Zoom, but at 12:45 p.m., we pivot. That's when we transition into an exclusive private lesson where our campers get hands-on experience actually building and creating with these AI tools. Plus, they'll be proving their new skills and earning official certifications by completing our certification exams. Here is what we are building over our epic 9-week summer lineup. Week 1, AI images for Roblox and Minecraft. Week 2, AI movies in Anime Studio. Week 3, AI music for TikTok sounds and Spotify hits. Week 4, AI games for classic arcade games. Week 5, AI ethics, hackers, deepfakes, and scams. Week 6, AI images for Disney and Marvel. Week 7, AI movies, Hollywood in your pocket. Week 8, AI music for hip-hop beats and gaming soundtracks. Week 9, AI games for phone and app store games. We're making AI practical, powerful, and fun for everyone. No tech background, no problem. Whether you're a kid ready to build awesome projects or an adult looking to audit a class and learn, just show up. Spots are still open. It's just $100 per week, or you can unlock the whole summer for $500. Secure your spot right now at www.airheadinstitute.ai. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. Let's stop scrolling and start creating. Welcome to camp.